And welcome back, YouTube. We're picking back up where we left off, roughly, in Factorio, with waiting for our HMS Bob Fizzle here to... Fizzy to build. Most of the stuff is just waiting to get shipped, right? I think most of it's literally down to shipping it. At which point it will become time for us to ship ourselves. Okay, for one of the rocket launches, I'll have to send these two up together. And the engine will end up having to go up by itself. Actually, to be fair, the engine might go up in the one that I go up on. Might leave the engine for when I'm going up. And yeah, I did some changes, as you saw at the end of the last part. Swapping the launcher over to productivity. Which now means we're backing up in the blue circuits, so maybe I'm gonna have to try to balance a bit between the two. To optimize the stuff going up. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay. Robot already flew off with it. Where did the robot take it? The robot took it right next door. Thanks, robot. Thanks for not taking to the far side of the universe. Because I'm sending up a non-standard cargo, I'm going to have to manually send it. So you're about full, so it's time to do another pass of shipping those to places. Oh, I didn't upgrade you two? Let's upgrade those two. So part of what's going on is I have one factory making efficiency modules, and I have one factory making efficiency module 2s for installation. So every once in a while I go through and I'm just replacing 1s with 2s. So that the 1s can be freed up to be shipped to places where I want to send the 1s. Which is a pain in the miners, to be fair. The miners, it's really easy just to say, hey, miners, take a bunch of 1s. Because you can't put productivity modules in the miners. And honestly, when it comes to the miners, I just don't want them to piss off the neighbors. I don't necessarily need them to be running faster. That might change in the future. But for the moment, that's the case. That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. With the miners. And the base at this point is mostly running efficiency 1s everywhere. So displacing them with 2s is a way to improve energy efficiency. At some point it might make sense to go back through and replace them with productivity modules. So at some point it might also make sense to make some quality modules. I'm thinking of holding off quality modules until we get to the first planet and get recyclers. Just so that when you've got a situation where you're like, well, I want to make a quality product here, don't care about the low quality ones, you can recycle the product that isn't the right product back into being made. So it's fine. 5, 4, 10, 6. Okay, so I can see why you would use the 2s over the 1s, because you get more per module slot, but if you're just trying to use it from a speed standpoint, it's still more speed down. Yeah. So that would basically be a 1% speed down. That'd be a 4% speed down. But it's more input efficient, right? So that's why you use the productivity modules. Okay, and we're starting to speed the productivity modules back, or the blue circuits back up, which is maybe a sign that I've overcorrected from speed to productivity. Oh, and I can fit that. HMS spot fizzle. Go. And then from that point on, you can automate and send things, except for the engine, which, to be fair, we'll probably send the engine up in our inventory. We'll just catch the plane up for the last part. Suppose I can pick up a bunch of speed modules here. We're not... Yeah, it doesn't make sense to speed module those. Because these are the factories making the space platform bits themselves. We've got enough of that backed up. I don't need that going any faster. Because we're being limited by the rocket, we're not being limited by that production. It doesn't make the sense to speed that up. Apparently all this is backed up, so some of this does make sense to maybe speed up, because when it gets used, it's going to get used. Like walls and gates and stuff get used. Well, walls in specific get used a lot when they get used. Not there yet. Only 8 more 235 to go, and the first Corvax will run. And then after the first Corvax will run, the second Corvax will run. And after the second Corvax will run, the third Corvax will run. And then the fourth. And then it'll make... To be fair, every time they... Well, no, actually, after the fourth one will run, then the first uranium will get to the uranium fuel cell makers, who will actually have a couple... Wait. Has it actually run a couple times? No, it couldn't have. Why do I have uranium cells? These guys have been that bad at picking off the line that they've been just missing the uranium. Uranium 335 going past them. Apparently. We've got 10 uranium cells. So that means you've got 10 uranium 335. I'm confused on how that happened. RNG, maybe? Because I suppose there might be a scenario where these all release at just the right time, that they sort of sneak past these four, but that... wasn't expecting that. Well, there's an interesting thing we can do this episode, and that is fire up the nuclear power plant. And hopefully not have it explode. We're gonna figure out if it explodes. And to start the nuclear power plant, all it requires is that it's dead. There we go. It's going, it's running, it's heating up. Don't know when it starts. Well, presumably 100C is when it would start making steam, right? Don't know how hot the nuclear power plant needs to get before it actually starts making power. And that reminds me, I need to set up the output. This filter only grab the depleted uranium. I'm going to put it in the wooden chest for the moment. Okay, so it's getting hot. I have no power yet. Why do I have no power? Maybe it just has to get up to temperature? Never operated one of these yet. We only haven't burned through one yet. And the temperature is rising. That 2/5 of the way up to proper temperature. That's probably why it's not making any steam, is because we haven't hit temperature yet. Yeah, there's a minimum temperature of 500C. Okay, I need to get up to 500C for the boilers work. I suppose what might have happened is maybe it did run one set of Korvax when I wasn't looking. Because what, it's 40 to 5, right? So it outputs one net 1, so you pull in the 40 and the one would go past, you pull in the 40 and the one would go past, pull in the 40 and the one would go past. So you'd run 3 through, but then these, I don't know. I think it's actually 10 as well, which is maybe not that unusual, because trying to mentally do the math on how much would sneak through on a full cycle of these. What's that? 39 there. 38 there. So 2 would come through, plus the 43 or something. Yeah, not 100% sure what happened on why we've got uranium cells down here, but I don't see any Corvex running. Okay, we're about to hit temperature. First cell should have depleted. I did take the tech for depletion, so depleted ones should show up. Oh, because you set it up on the other side. Of course, Of course, you already did the thing that you were thinking of doing, so you already did it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. We're at temperature. So steam should be being produced. And we're not consuming any power. Why are we not consuming any power? Well, I suppose with the near unlimited power that is fission, I think it is time to transition from energy efficiency to productivity. So that's definitely not working the way I intended it to do. Productivity modules, yes. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a copy. I'm actually going to place it over here for the moment. And delete. And a copy. And a paste. So what that should do is they'll come by, clean everything off the belt, come back through, and replace it all. Oh, I can't move them around in the box from the distance. Okay. Not quite going according to plan. Really? That's how you operate in that situation? Okay, that's definitely not what I want. Pickle those up, please. Okay, it's nighttime, and we're consuming power, so hopefully this doesn't explode. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Especially because I'm standing right next to it. That would be a bad place to be standing. To increase the likelihood, or the hopeful likelihood that doesn't explode. I'm going to add a little bit of storage. Steam storage. If it will let me and the steam storage doesn't explode. Because in theory, there is only enough steam demand here to, you know, stop, increase the likelihood that we make this thing explode. Let's make sure that it doesn't have all uranium in the world. Let's set up some sort of circuit. Okay, so you should start cooling down. Hopefully. Soon. Before it explodes. I'm probably being paranoid. Sometimes paranoia is warranted. Technically, I only have enough boilers on here to keep the temperature steady. So if there isn't, in theory, there isn't enough capacity, the temperature would continue to rise. It does look it's continuing to rise. Max consumption 10 megawatts. Constant consumption of 40 megawatts. So we should be technically shouldn't be rising in temperature. Okay, it looks like it's steady for the moment. I suppose I don't have these storage tanks are not balanced in any way. No balancing effect going on. Keep all the boilers running. Okay, so it's out of fuel, so it should start cooling down again. Yeah, and why it's over 500 C, we are in theory making steam faster than we're consuming it. Because we're not consuming any of it right now. Because the glory that is solar power is being a problem. You're only generating 1.7 things of steam, okay. That doesn't make super sense. Oops. I wanted one of those, but, you know how it is sometimes. Throw one in. That's keeping the temperature from declining. Steam is rising. Generating steam, generating 1.7 of 200. Output 103 per second of 103 per second. Oh no, there's only 1 point steam in the item. Okay. So the steam isn't backing up, it is actually going somewhere. Which is out to the tanks. Okay, so I'm going to put some sort of logic in here. The logic's basically going to be run enough of the conception. So when this power switch is switched, I want it to insert uranium fuel into the reactor. Which it won't do if the switch is open. I want to run some bit of logic off of it. I want like a decider, probably? So the decider, if steam is greater than like 10K. Output a thing. Okay. Actually, I want it the other way around. If it's below, actually, let's set this number lower. Let's set the number like 1,000. So if storage is below 25, 1/25th, output the signal. The signal being received by this. Enable. When you get that signal, that one equals. And of course, during the very short, brief stint where I was setting the thing, it shoved a bunch of uranium fuel in the nuclear reactor. Okay. So that will basically guarantee that we've got steam for those generators to run, provide power to the base. So in theory, I now have a whopping 40 megawatts of electrical power capacity, additional from the steam turbines. Which should, in theory, mean that the accumulators are even less necessary. Because if anyone's currently watching on Twitch and hasn't seen any of the earlier parts, I have a steam buffer in my old steam-powered system. Old power steam power system. So that in a situation where I have excess power during the day, steam will buffer up and can be used during the night. Which is also why I'm running one boiler to 4 steam engines. So that in a nighttime situation, the buffered steam can be spent running the back ones, while the boiler runs the front ones, basically. And the logic I tested with the nuclear power plant is similar to the logic I had with cracking. So I had basically worked that out from before and how I wanted to do that. And the handover went fine? No, the handover did not go at all. Gonna have to go manually fix that. Good thing to know that heat pipes that are 5,000 degrees C don't kill you if you step on them. They definitely do IRL, and they definitely do in Long Dark, but in Factorio Man... Apparently Factorio Man can lift multiple trains, so he's got special powers. So let's go fix the problem. And get ourselves productivity module 2s going. I'll probably still do a bunch of productivity module 1s. For things like mining and stuff like that, but I think it's time, especially with that now far expanded nuclear power plant, to accept that we don't necessarily need to be running efficiency modules in the main base. And instead, as a side effect, I should swap over to speed and productivity or frog in my throat. Where reasonable. Okay, I suppose while I have productivity 1s on me, I can contemplate things. Can I make you be productivity? Yes. Okay, so you're now productivity. Probably make you be productivity. This is probably going to screw up the balancing on various things, so... For example, I should expect those blue ones to start to back up. I don't think I can run productivity on you. Yeah, you're one of the ones I can't run productivity on. Which probably means I should run speed here. Which, to be fair, probably means that everything's going to be unbalanced and it's not going to work right. Means these are going to be sitting idle for some portion of the time where they're waiting for inputs. This is one of the few rungs where it'll be full speed. What are you waiting on? You're waiting on clearing the bits off the belt so there's space for you to get your inputs, so that makes sense. Interesting. So I guess the... steam turbines from the nuclear power plant are on the same priority level as the steam engines. Anyway, this is going to radically raise power consumption requirements, which with the nuclear power plant going for the moment doesn't seem to, in theory, be a problem. I might change my mind on that later when we get a brownout, but for the moment, not a problem. And these have to be speed. They're going to be anything, they have to be speed. Or, well, I could say I could continue to run efficiency modules and keep the energy efficiency up. You know, one place to definitely throw productivity is we have productivity 1s in the rocket. Swapping that to productivity 2 will, in theory, actually make the rocket launches slower, but if I'm going to be running productivity in the rocket launcher, then we should be running the best that we have. Oh, good to see the buffer on those units are full. How's the bulb fizzle coming along? Waiting on turrets. Waiting on the main engine. Got most of space platforms. In fact, that's what's currently being launched, is the second last load of space platform. Then it's mostly turrets. Logistics request. Why is it red? Screw something up with the request, or the passive provider. Probably what's wrong. Let me guess, it just takes a lot per rocket launch. Our capacity is 50. Okay, I don't know why you're not working. We'll put another stack in and see if that helps. It was interesting. I haven't seen an exclamation point before. Okay, so everything except for the engine, which will go up with us, the turrets, and the space platform itself is up there. So it's got one more rocket load worth of space platform to send up, which goes up next. This thing is giving me 70 missing entities, and there's 198 stuff to go out. Okay, so this has dropped the temperature. Well, it's still technically making steam. It should stop making steam soon. In theory, it says it isn't making any. You can see assembly machine 3, so that's all the productivity and speed modules kicking in. Dragging up the power demand. Yeah, we haven't been using... Basically, since we had the nuclear power plant set up, we haven't been using... haven't been using any accumulator charge. And we're now enough solar power running that turn the boilers off, stop using the steam turbines on these. So yeah, I think the temperature dropped low enough that these aren't running, and we're not shoving more nuclear fuel in because our steam is above the set point. Said if it's above, and to be fair, it's only looking at one tank, right? So if one tank is above 10k, is above 1k, don't send the signal. If that isn't the case, then send the signal that equals 1. Equals 1. And if it equals 1, then this switch gets closed, which powers that inserter, which shoves nuclear fuel into the reactor. And hopefully not so much nuclear fuel that the reactor doesn't get too hot, that it will boil all the steam before the steam goes above 1,000. And to be fair, based on how this works, it's going to basically do one load that will run the boilers. And if we're not actively using the boilers, we probably will be actively using the boilers, so it'll probably produce enough within seconds that the thing will open again. So it's probably going to get like 1, maybe 2 handfuls. Depends on how quick the inserter is. And hopefully that's not enough to completely fill up the buffers. Probably coming up in time when I should probably end the stream for the night, so that'd actually be an interesting time to take a look at what the production has been roughly over the last hour. So you can see our biggest production has been copper cable, apparently followed by iron ore. So making a lot more copper cable. Before, that's probably the main thing we're turning the copper plates into, is turning copper plates into copper cable. And those are our biggest productions. Notable high numbers are, well, I think it's intermediate goods are on the left. Space platforms is one of the other bigger items. Oh no, it just goes all the way down until you hit a point, and then it comes back around. Okay. Science 1070. Oh, overall science. Okay, it's about 10. It's about 1,000 over 1,000 1,000 a minute. Okay. And then we're consuming things. And you can imagine that most of the things consumption should equal production, because most of the things are buffered. So if you're meeting the buffer requirements, then they should be consumed at that rate. And then what? I think I've got Solaris tagged up here. What is Solaris again? The number hasn't updated in a while, so I suspect it's something like, for a certain period of time, use nothing but solar power. Pinned. Where is it? I am having difficulty finding it. Use the search function. There it is. Produce more than 10 gigajoules of power using only solar panels. Yeah. Okay. So what you're telling me is that we're not doing that right now. Yeah, we're not doing that right now. Our solar power grid is apparently not big enough. Oh, that's probably how much we've got. It's either how much we got, or it's how much we had the last time we were using only solar power. Okay, well, if that's the case, we can go ahead and solar power production. Very easily, like so. And of course, I just put out an order to deliver more things than we have in stockpile. And yeah, looking at the time, I should probably call it for the night. At this point, I think we're mainly waiting on the last couple deliveries up to the Bob Fizzle, which appears to only be our turrets. Just made me realize something. I am missing some inserters. These don't work. I don't let them grab things. Don't empty the output. Oh, I'm gonna need a lot of inserters. Okay, then we have this problem again, like we did on the other side, which is easy enough to fix. And yeah, with all these inserters, we need more inserters. So there is still more that needs to get put up here. I was gonna end, and I suppose those, for people who clicked off already, I'm sorry. Not that they're hearing me saying sorry. I recognized that this needs to be done, and before I forget, I'm doing it. Okay, so with that's running. That's running. We got a single piece of carbon in the palming there missing. Okay. Well, it's good side. The right side isn't running because I didn't put filter on this. Filter. Only grab. Iron ore. And this side doesn't need it because you can't shove the ferric chunks into the furnace anyway. So that's running. So water's going in. So we're making water. We've made that type of fuel. We don't have that type of fuel yet because we don't have the right side running properly. Should now be running, so that's good to see. And we're now, in theory, making some bullets. So the turrets will slowly collect some bullets. The sushi belt is running. Okay, now this thing obviously has more demands. So it wants another another 2 shipments of inserters, 1 more shipment of gun turrets, and then we can go up, and in theory, the thing's ready to fly. So in the next part, we may be ready to actually fly to the first planet. But this is also where I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. So if you've been watching on YouTube, I hope you've been enjoying it. There's a good likelihood that there will be another part up tomorrow, because I tend to stream things on like a 3-day schedule at the moment. So this probably gets streamed before this part gets up. So that probably means there will be one tomorrow. I suppose if you're watching on YouTube and can't wait till tomorrow, you might be able to pop up onto Twitch, and the past VOD will probably still be up there. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, remember any VODs older than 7 days are probably up on YouTube, and they should be up in 1080p. What's going up to Twitch might be throttled by the local internet, so it might be running a little bit lower quality, or have skipped frames. If you want to see more, again, if you're on YouTube, the next part will probably be up tomorrow. If you're on Twitch, check the schedule. It'll probably be played again in 3 days. I tend to alternate between three games at a time at the moment. So until next time, I hope you all have good luck and a good time. This is where I'm going to sign off for the night. So until the next time, bye for now. Oh, before I forget, remember to save. It would be bad if I didn't save. Okay, really bye for now.